I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the inner critic that lives inside our head and our brain, and sort of why it exists to begin with. So our brain, its main function out of everything else is to survive. So it's processing a lot of information, heaps of information every second of every day, and it's analyzing that information to better understand what we need to do in order to function. But the underlying key primary sort of goal is surviving as a human being. So it's taking in this information, it's using what data that it needs to in order to help it make its decisions, it's discarding stuff that it doesn't need to as well. And so it creates a kind of a filing system inside our head of important information, things that we need to hold on to and remember, and things that are background, not necessarily as important or sort of required for us to survive. What it also does is when it starts creating that filing system, it'll also start bookmarking certain events or situations as a reminder of things that have happened that we might need to know about or be mindful of in the future as well. So a bit like when you open up your search engine browser and you're looking through Google and you're wanting to save some tabs to come back to later, your brain's also doing that with memories and events that have happened in the past. Usually those bookmarked events are ones that are negative events, things that have happened where there's been more of a negative outcome. And remember, the brain is trying to think about how it can best survive. When we're talking about survival, it's not just about being able to live and breathe. Survival is also about things like a sense of belonging, because back in the caveman days, you survived better when you were part of a group. So your brain's thinking, how do I ensure that I continue to be part of a group that helps keep me safe? In this day and age, obviously, we're not needing to think about tribes and sort of nomadic lifestyles and people running away from saber-toothed tigers and things. But still that idea of, hey, we need to be part of a community to belong somewhere, to fit in. And therefore, I need to be mindful of what I say, do, or think, because what I say, do, or think may impact whether I continue to be part of this community. So our brain goes back to bookmarking events where perhaps our potential of being pushed out of a community, being pushed out of a sense of belonging from somewhere has been threatened. And so it goes, oh, this situation wasn't very good, didn't really go down too well. We had a potential sort of red alert that our survival could be in jeopardy, and we're going to bookmark this event so that next time something similar comes up or something, the same, we're going to remember, hey, we need to do something differently as well. So your inner critic is your fear showing up. It is your fear of a past event where something has happened that hasn't been very positive, usually. So for example, maybe you had to get up and do some public speaking and you absolutely sort of went mind blank, couldn't speak, or felt like you embarrassed yourself. Or when you were a child and you didn't get great grades at school and your parents reprimanded you and were mad at you for that. Or a situation where you weren't given love and you were really seeking some love and support from somebody in your life as well. So your inner critic is your fear showing up going, this event happened in the past, it didn't go down too well, and we don't want it to repeat in the future. So my inner critic, or the inner critic for you, is going to be sort of saying stuff to remind you, hey, there's something that potentially could impact our survival as well. And so it goes back to those bookmark situations. So generally when we're thinking about our inner critic coming up, it's not necessarily about a situation that is definitely going to happen or is happening right now. It's referring to a past event, and it's trying to warn you that this situation might happen again, and it's trying to stop you from doing that again. So it's your fear showing up. So the inner critic, its main sort of function leading into the brain is about survival. It is designed to try and protect you. It is trying to help you, but it's not necessarily doing it in the most helpful or productive way. And so what we need to try and understand is why that inner critic is showing up, where it's coming from, and trying to find a way in which you can work with your inner critic so that you can lead the best possible life for yourself and not be sort of held back by what your inner critic is saying to you and stopping you from doing.